You know what? Playing this game without the sounds of
Reloading! Reload! Reloading!
just doesn't feel right.
That's more like it.
Back 4 Blood. Turtle Rock Studios' ambitious project on recreating Left 4 Dead. One of Valve's masterpieces before they realized that selling games is more profitable than making one. I've played and finished the little campaign they have to offer in the open beta and I actually enjoyed it. Now, hear me out. This game only carried a fraction of the charm it had on Left 4 Dead. It's nowhere near a spiritual successor, and that's a problem. I will elaborate on that topic later in this video, but right now I would like to explain why I think it's actually a pretty decent game. One of the main differences I felt right after I played the first stage is the heavy reliance on team play and communication. Just by weapon choice alone can screw you over because of the limited and different armor types. Which means if all 4 of you for some reason is using a rifle, you are basically wasting 75% of the armor found in the level, since you can't use the other 3. Armor scarcity will happen very often if this is the case. Couple the fact that, unlike Left 4 Dead, your secondary weapon do not have infinite ammo. Unless you're incapacitated, which could be a desperate meme attempt for an armor refill, in general, you would like to have a balanced team that has a sort of a role focus. For example, you can have Holly as a frontliner since she recovers some stamina every time she kills a zombie, allowing her to melee more often. And then a mid-range combatant that focuses on thinning out the hordes while providing armor on kills. And then a sniper that prioritizes elites while targeting weak points for their sweet damage boost. Finally, the backbone of every team, a support that keeps the team alive by having a bigger stash of drop. Yep, she's the best.
What the hell, Mom? What the hell are you doing in front of me anyway?
I like you. I also mentioned drugs because the other options for healing is mediocre at best. Welcome to the mechanic that made this happen.
Know your fucking place, trash!
So you made it through a few levels. Good job! But then you realize your max HP is as low as my bank account deposit. This is because of this new trauma mechanic and the main reason why the first aid kit is absolutely trash. You take damage, you get trauma. The more traumatized you are, the lower your max HP is. I once thought that the decreased max HP is in relation to your down charges, which is actually partially true. I just did not realize there's an entire mechanic behind it. Now, I don't really mind the trauma mechanic, it is a way to spice up the game on higher difficulty. What I do mind is how this mechanic turns this item into absolute trash. This, my friend, is the most expensive support item you can get, but all it does is give you a big heal. Nothing more. No down charge restoration, no trauma heals, and guess what I can't heal? Oh yeah, past the lowered max HP. You know what is capable of bypassing that shit and heal just as much? Drugs. And at a lower price too. Consuming it only takes less than half a second too. The temporary health lasts longer than this video you are watching right now too. Why do you even bother getting a first aid kit?
Think, Mark!
The only way to heal trauma is from the healing cabinet found inside the safe house or some room in a level if you are lucky. Which doesn't make any sense because it really just looks like a stationary first aid kit to me. I don't really want this mechanic to be removed either. It actually gave me a dilemma of managing economics at the safe house, since only the first use is free. The game gets harder after every level, especially after the finale of every act, so I do not want to spend too much on maintenance and more on upgrades and restocks. The gun's attachment is kinda meh, but I do enjoy the times I get a sniper scope on the Desert Eagle. It looks stupid as fuck, but guess who's alive and who's dead? Pocket Sniper, the true way to use a magnum pistol. Guns and these team upgrades ain't the only upgrades here. You have your own deck of cards that you draw after every level. That's right, I'm talking about the newly installed card system.
20% stand, 15% concentrated power of hand, 5% hand, 50% hand, 100% reason to remember the name.
Honestly, I feel that it fits in pretty well since it complements the team play value perfectly. These cards don't just give boring state gains. I mean, some are, but there are interesting ones that complement your role or playstyle. There's this classic melee heals plus free combat knives that one-shots every normal zombie that you can get as starter deck. Later on, you get to unlock increased healing efficiency cards with the cost of stamina efficiency. And after you stack these healing cards enough, your little bandage will heal as much as a first aid kit, which further downplay the usefulness of this first aid kit, since you can just, drop it for the healer to heal it for you. Seriously, this item needs a rework. As nice as this card system is, it is flawed. The most glaring issue is just how grindy is it to get them. You need to complete the first line of cards rewards, which I thought was just a tutorial, but then I get 3 different reward lines, and that's just the beginning. There are more reward lines underneath them. I finished 3 runs during the open beta and only managed to nearly finish unlocking 3 lines. I can already see the future possibility of monetization of these supply points just so the players can unlock it faster. Another issue I have with the card system is the balancing, mainly due to the team effect cards. There should be a limit on how many you can have in your deck. Mind you, you are basically giving the entire team that buff at the cost of 1 card. One of the runs I had is with a public matchmaking, and they all just stack team cards together to the point that one person can hold 4 offensive item and defensive item, along with a 60 HP heal when one person is incapacitated. That's the easiest run I had in my life. Those team effect cards are just bullshit when there isn't a limit. And that's it. That's the fun part about Back 4 Blood. It's much more team play intensive than Left 4 Dead, and drafting a deck or building a dream gun setup is great. So, what went wrong?
We happy? Vincent? We happy?
Yeah, we happy. Look.
The target audience and the way it is presented is one of them. By simply looking at the Steam reviews and major game article sites regarding this game, it is pretty obvious that they use the legacy of Left 4 Dead as their selling point. But misses the mark. One of the main perks Left 4 Dead had is its simplicity. You can get any gamer friend, even one that never played Left 4 Dead, into your party and you still have a great time. It's that straightforward. Get a gun, stick together and push forward till the end. Even if your friends doesn't have any experience or a total noob, they'll just follow behind you and try to help. I always remember that one time me and my homies got killed by one single jockey because all of us refused to use the first aid kit when we all have 1 HP just because we haven't grey screen. Good times. Secondly, Left 4 Dead is old. Like, really old. I was still in high school when this was released, and it was the game. I've known some bros who skip class just to head towards the closest internet cafe and play Left 4 fucking Dead. That was 12 years ago. By now, those same people probably graduated and started working. They don't really have that free time to build strategies, getting to know the new cars and trauma mechanics. They just started to deal with new adult responsibilities such as taxes, work pressure, or maybe even raising children. Hence, all the perks I mentioned throughout the video are pretty much undermined. They don't shine when the player really just want to play what they already know, which is Left 4 Dead. Back 4 Blood doesn't provide that. If anything, newer players are more likely to enjoy this game than people that played 12 years ago. On the contrary, Back 4 Blood isn't as thrilling as Left 4 Dead since there isn't a hot timer. If you clear most of the zombies nearby, it's relatively safe to just stop, heal, and redistribute your ammo among your team. If you play like that in Left 4 Dead, you'll be overwhelmed if you take too long to the next safe room. In conclusion, Back 4 Blood has a stronger emphasis on team play and less on running and gunning your way through. Its more complicated system and vast amount of weapon combination can be a bit too much for someone who really just want to, play a game. Sure, you can play on classic mode, which is equivalent to easy mode, but that would mean you'll be breezing through the way. It still doesn't provide that charm from Left 4 Dead. It's not to say Back 4 Blood is a bad game. Like I said, I did enjoy it during the open beta period. But the marketing did not provide what was advertised as the spiritual successor of Left 4 Dead. They simply added or changed too many stuffs that turned it into an entirely new game while being in the zombie shooting genre. As an analogy, Left 4 Dead would be like the simple rich chocolate cake. It delivers and is good. Back 4 Blood would be the same chocolate cake but with added cream, icings, strawberries, some crumb and stuffs. It is still a chocolate cake in terms, but the extra flavors are covering the richness of it such that the cake is no longer the main object. Take a look at this dragon. It's cute and innocent looking and is taken from Demon Art 10 years ago. Why would someone add a top hat and a monocle anyway? Wait.